Growing up without a father is a reality for a lot of young people in our area and for generations ahead of them. And the children's book series looks at the emotional impact not having a father can have on a person. Missing Dad is the transformative book by Vincent Garrett that inspires young people to overcome and navigate those challenges they face. And we are so pleased to welcome author, educator, and youth mentor Vincent Garrett to Philly Live this morning. Vincent, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. I'm super excited.
Yes, you better clap for yourself.
I'm super excited.
Let's talk about what inspired you to write the Missing Dad book series. You have 4 books in this series.
Absolutely. This book was written from a place of hurt and pain. So through this book, I'm able to voice how to navigate, how to say it's okay to not be okay.
Talk about the hurt and pain that you experienced that you are now helping other people heal from.
Yeah, so as a 14-year-old young man going through a lot of emotional transitions of wanting to have an active father but not having an active father. And what does that look like for a young man? That looks like a lot of uncertainty, looks like a lack of guidance, looks like a lack of emotional healing. So as I progressed from being a young man to now a young adult, now becoming transitioning into manhood, I never dealt with those emotions. So if you bottle those emotions up, they're going to manifest in a way. Maybe depression, maybe anger, maybe sadness. So in order for me to become an author now, I had to heal. So I'm using these book series to help others understand that it's a way to heal. It's a proper way to heal, though.
And I love that you are showing children how to do that because it starts young and it starts at home. Briefly describe the books that you have.
So I have the actual story, my story of a 14-year-old young man, how I navigated those transitions of not having a father and those emotional journeys. This is called the power tool. This is not a workbook, this is a power tool because this workbook is universal. This workbook can be used for adults and children. One of the amazing questions that I really love about this workbook is what relationship do you wish was different and why? Anybody can answer that. You never know the answer. Maybe the actual parent that they're speaking with. You just never know.
Right.
I have an alphabet adventure, Caleb's Alphabet Adventure. This book is for pre-K, first grade, kindergarten students to help with alphabet writing, identification, and also it has emotional literacy activities in it as well.
This is so well thought out, Vincent.
Absolutely.
I'm really proud of what you put together.
Thank you.
Now, you know, the fatherless epidemic, as we know, affects so many communities, but especially the Black community. Why is it important for you to be a mentor to these kids?
It's so important and vital because I know the feeling, I know the empty part of me that needed to be loved on. I wanted somebody to tell me, you look handsome. I wanted a man to look at me and say, let me fix your tie. I wanted a man to say, you got a mustache, you think you're handsome now. I wanted that. That feeling, it feels so good. In the book, in the story, I wrote a moment about me not understanding how to tie a necktie. And it took a man, my neighbor, who saw me crying and said,
wow,
come here for a minute. And now with my young men who I mentor, I make sure I have that moment with them. You come here, let me tie your tie. So it speaks to mentor leaders produce mentor leaders.
You know, in addition to mentorship, you also are taking these books on the road. You have an entire journey tied to these books nationwide. What can you share with us? So
I am hosting a Missing Dad tour. It's a free tour. This tour is built to build self-awareness, self-esteem, have these honest and candid conversations about, I'm just frustrated and this is the reason I'm frustrated. The only requirement is to commit to purchasing 50 reading books and 50 workbooks. That is the only requirement. It is an absolute free tour because the goal of the tour is impact. It's the emotional impact. And what's so unique about the tour, every workbook sold, the proceeds go to my scholarship foundation for mentor leaders produce mentor leaders. I want to help young men during their first year of college because sometimes there are a lot of dropouts because of financial burden that they have. So my goal and responsibility of being a mentor is to ensure that they don't have to work their first year. I want you to focus on securing the 15 or 18 credits that you do take your first year in college.
Now, you know, you are a father now to a 3-year-old beautiful girl.
Yes, and Haley and Story too.
So talk about Obviously, you're a father figure as well to so many other people. But what is your one message to the people who don't have an influential male role model in their life?
I would like to, in this moment, speak to parents, not the youth. I would love to speak to the parents. Be mindful of what you say. Be mindful of what you do. I want to shout out my mother for never taking a shot or placing the blame on my father for being absent. She always left that window open for that chance for me to go back and revisit or have a conversation, because if she did that, that would hinder me from even taking a step to even be the man that I am now. And that's why I wrote a letter to my father in the beginning of the book. There's a letter to my father about forgiveness. So I had to
Is your father still with us?
No, he's deceased.
Okay.
And I met him, and he passed away a week later. So for me, that moment was
That's powerful.
It's so powerful.
Thank you so much for your vulnerability. Thank you so much for sharing your journey and for teaching other people how to heal and what healing looks like and how you can be successful on the other side of it. So once again, if you want more details about the Missing Dad Tour, head over to NBC10.com/findItOn10. Vincent Garrett, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
For being here on Philly Live with us.
Thank you so much.
Yes, this is
Thank you.
What an incredible story. Yay!